then she will ask you a question.
Okay, perfect. We can do that.
Okay,
Very good
good
to go.
evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all the students, parents, and counselors joining us today. My name is Akriti Jhunjhunwala, and I'm a senior counselor at EduCoach, and I'll be going over looking after the Q&A and logistics for today's sessions. On behalf of Team EduCoach, we're delighted to welcome you to another edition of AMA webinar series. This series is designed to give students and families practical expert guidance on college admissions, entrance tests, and application strategies by bringing leading experts directly to you. Today's session is AMA about SATs and ACT. As more students aspire to study in leading universities around the world, standardized tests continue to play an important role in the college applications, but many students also have a lot of questions about the standardized test process. So that's why we brought you the expert in SAT and ACTs, Mr. Abhinav Garg. Mr. Abhinav Garg is the founder and CEO of Satin Paper, one of India's leading online test preparation companies for SAT, ACT, as well as AP exams. With over 20 years of experience, Sir has mentored more than 20,000 students and built Satin Paper into a global platform that has trained over 7,500 students from 80 plus countries. Sir is a passionate educator and mentor, and he leads a team of 250 instructors and helps students achieve outstanding standardized scores through personalized, results-driven preparation. Joining him today as moderator is Ms. Rucha Joshi, who is a senior counselor at EduCoach. So the session today will be purely Q&A. We have curated questions based on what our students frequently ask us and through what we got in our registrations. And so it will be Q&A. And if anyone in the audience has any questions, please feel free to jump in the chat box, and we will address those whenever appropriate. So over to you, Rucha.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all the parents and students who have joined us for this Q&A AMA session. The first question is, and the most common question that we receive from students is, which exam should I take, SAT or the ACT, and what is the key difference between these two exams?
Okay, so this question, which in my opinion is a little bit irrelevant right now. This question should have been very, very relevant, I would say, about a year and a half ago, where these were actually competing exams. Now, we have to see what happened to the two of them. The SAT went in for a big change in 2023, okay, which was the shift to the digital SAT. And this change was planned by them in 2020 during the COVID year.
Yes.
So although the SAT, you still cannot take it at home, but tomorrow, if need be, College Board can evolve into a test which can be administered at home, which was their primary fear during the COVID years. Right. So they worked on this test for almost 3 years. They rolled it out outside of the US first. So India went digital in 2023 March, and they observed all these locations outside of the US for an entire year, and only rolled out the digital SAT in US in March of about 2024. They're very sorted tests, very, very logically created, statistically validated. They've spent millions of dollars creating this new format. And they didn't go wrong with this. The advantage, if you look at it from the student's perspective, from College Board's perspective, this test is 100 times more accurate than the previous one. And it's a completely new test. It draws nothing from the old paper-based test. From the student's point of view, this test is shorter. Previous one was 3 hours. This one is 2 hours and 14 minutes. So it's 25% shorter. We all know the students today would not really want to sit through longer durations. So the new digital SAT was a runaway success. And ACT started losing market share rapidly to SAT in the US. Now, again, India is not a bone of contention. We hardly have the market size. Less than 1% of the global SAT takers are in India, and probably less than 0.1% of the global ACT takers are in India. So we are not something that needs to be considered. We're talking about USO. Now, when the ACT was rapidly losing market share to SAT, they also changed. This change was a forced change. This change was effective practically in the US from September of 2025, in India from April of 2025. Not much homework was done. They only modified the old test to create a new shorter version.
Hmm.
And this change was a complete disaster. Okay. Change was a complete disaster. Coupled with it, the fact, and then they were not transparent. The College Board was very transparent when they released the new test. They released 4 practice papers. They revised 2 of them. To people like us, they shared the complete schema as to how this test is going to be created. The ACT did none of that. They released only 1 practice paper, for which also they did not share the gradings. How would
Hmm.
it convert to a scaled score has never been shared by the ACT, even though we know how they do it. So the ACT bombed further.
Hmm.
They tried experimenting by altering the structure of the test. Some of the downsides today, the ACT is now a lopsided test. Science section became optional, which means it has 1/3 math and 2/3 English,
Hmm.
making it inherently unattractive for most of the Asians.
Yeah.
People poor at math might think we might take the ACT, but math on the ACT is not easy. It's highly curricular.
Hmm.
Coupled with all this, the company ACT, it was sold in
Hmm.
October of 2024 to a for-profit organization.
Hmm.
Compounding things further, it was sold again on the 1st of July 2026 to a company called ETS, or Education Testing Service, which
Hmm.
also publishes the GRE and the TOEFL. This is the first good news I've heard about the ACT, I would say, in the last 2.5 years.
Hmm.
Now that the ETS is in, you can rest assured that over the next 6 months to 1 year might be, they are going to repair the test. They're going to do some good things. ETS, the credentials are very well established. But my advice to the students right now, stay away from the ACT. Nothing is to be gained by going that route, which is hardly explored. When people like us with 250 tutors and a clear established content leadership of team of 20 people, when we do not feel confident about this test, I'm not sure how students are going to develop that confidence.
That was very informative, sir. Thank you. My next question would be, when do you think is the ideal time to start preparing for SAT?
Okay, excellent. So now we focus on discussion on SAT, and I'm
Yes.
going to be addressing 2 different cohorts here. One is people who do CBSE or ICSE, or people who do IGCSE exams, where final exams are conducted in the month of March.
Hmm.
The finals of 10th boards are going to end before the 31st of March. The idea is very simple. The day your 10th grade exams get over is the day your SAT prep has to start.
Okay.
Okay. Now, give yourselves 4 to 5 months for the first round. Never be in a rush. And
Hmm.
again, if you don't feel confident, push it further by 2 months. No harm done. Take the test when you're fully prepared. Don't throw darts.
Hmm.
Right. For students who are doing MYP or IGCSE, where the final exams would be conducted in the month of May and June, they should start working on it halfway through the 10th grade.
Hmm.
So 1st of December of your 10th grade would be a very good idea to start working on it. Work on it slowly, steadily until about March. In March, take a break to focus on your IGCSE finals or MYP finals, whatever the case might be. Come back in June. Keep the first part very light, keep the second part very intense. But you should always plan to take your first SAT in about August, September, just as you enter the 11th grade. This is where I've seen the best outcomes happen.
Okay. Got it, sir. The next question would be, would you recommend that students take a diagnostic test
Always.
before attempting the preparation, and why do you think it's so important to take the diagnostic?
One, it exposes them to what the test is.
Correct.
Second, it creates some kind of an interest per se from the student side.
Hmm.
And third, it establishes a very important baseline for you that you can use for measuring your progress later on.
Hmm.
What might be great score for one student may be very average for another one.
Hmm.
To decide the baseline. I mean, if somebody started from a 960 on the diagnostic test and reaches a 1400, I would say he or she has done great. If
Yes.
you started with a 1320, you're ending with 1400, you've done nothing.
Got it. Got
Right?
it.
It
So what
also,
is
at times, counselors approach me asking me whether a student should take the SAT, should not take the SAT. How much can they improve?
Hmm.
It's a function of, I would say, three things: the baseline scores, the time available.
Hmm.
Somebody came to me with 1050 baseline score, looking at least a 1450 to apply to colleges. Two students on the same day. For one of them, my recommendation was go ahead. For the other one, my recommendation was don't even touch it. The difference, one of them was in the 11th
Hmm.
grade. The other was in the 12th. Taken a
Hmm.
diagnostic for the first time in the month of July. Have
Hmm.
time only until October. Do not expect miracles. Focus on other things. In any case, the 12th grade is way more pressurizing for a student than the 11th grade. So SAT, take my advice, finish it off in grade 11. Grade
Hmm.
11, I've also seen kids starting with a 950 and hitting a 1530. But then the student motivation plays a huge role here.
Got it. Next question, again, the most common question that we have is how many attempts should students ideally plan for? Just one.
One. And keep one more as a backup. Don't rely on it.
Hmm.
You should take your first attempt as if it is your last attempt.
Hmm.
And take it when you're fully confident. Don't say, no, I'm going to test waters. Don't test waters.
Hmm.
Pretty expensive water, $120. So doesn't make sense when you can
True.
have it with us for free. And the other part is all those scores will get recorded. Some of the colleges, as you know, as counselors, might insist on reporting all scores. There is no point
Yes.
taking the test just for the fun of it, just for the heck of it.
Hmm.
So put all your eggs in one basket. Try
Hmm.
and make your first attempt your last attempt.
Got it.
Second attempt is just in case. And you
Just.
can't keep on taking SAT all your life. And I have no data here that shows me kids who take 4 attempts score higher than kids who take just 2 attempts. Second attempt to cover certain exigencies. I got nervous on the test date. I lost sleep. On that particular day, the math section was very difficult. I'm good at math. Okay, you go take one. But then take the first one when you're fully prepared. The second one, whether to take it is not to take it, is a question that arises when you get the results for the first one out. Never build a 2 attempt strategy otherwise.
Got it. Got it. So would you also recommend that students should complete their testing before application season, which is around October, September,
I
October?
would recommend you should always complete it in the 11th grade. Never let it touch the 12th. But for that, you need to start very well in time and stay committed. The
Hmm.
deeper you get into your high school, grade 11 and grade 12, the harder it will become for you to devote meaningful time towards SAT prep because there are going to be so many demands on your time. I'm sure you would be able
Yeah.
to talk about that much better than what I can. So, because we look at only one part of it, these kids, they go through so much. So you need to plan it really, really, really well and put it up into your schedules.
Got it. As counselors, we also recommend students to get, done with SAT in grade 11 itself. Could you also
Absolutely.
please shed some light on what is the PSAT and how exactly students can attempt that?
You want a very honest advice?
Yes,
The
always.
PSAT is the College Board's marketing division. It
Okay.
is, unless you are a US citizen,
Hmm.
this is as useless as a test can be.
Hmm.
The general notion that preparing for the PSAT would help me score better on the SAT is completely unfounded. I've always seen the opposite.
Okay.
Okay, two couple of things. One, the SAT is a test of your IQ.
Hmm.
End of the day, by whatever name the college board might call it, but this is what it intends to test. And hence, you are seeing greater correlation with the SAT score than with the school grades of late. Everybody is becoming test man,
Hmm.
right? So, whatever whitewash they've done, end of the day, it purports to measure your IQ, which grows in this growing age. Even by the weeks, it grows. So don't take it too early. Second, this is not the IIT JEE that you can prepare for 4 years. This is
Hmm.
an aptitude test. It is simple math and simple English and some test taking techniques. You are likely to get bored with it very soon,
Hmm.
right? There is no way you can keep yourselves on it for 4 years. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
So
agree.
anything that you do to prepare for the PSAT is eventually going to harm you. Those scores are not reported anywhere.
Anywhere.
The
Hmm.
test is administered at your school. The PSAT costs less than one fourth of what the SAT costs. Why? Because it's kept very easy. The college board wants you to go to the school, take the PSAT, which is offered such a low price,
Hmm.
fall in love, and then choose the SAT over the ACT later.
Hmm. Got it. Hmm.
That's the only purpose it serves. The only people for whom the PSAT would have some relevance, it would have some relevance only in two cases. One is US citizens.
Hmm.
For US citizens, the PSAT that they take in the 11th grade, it couples up as NMSQT, National Merit Scholarship
Yes.
Qualifying Test. The scholarship is only $2,500, which is not much, but the pride associated is great. It could be a great addition to your application if
Hmm.
you crack the NMSQT. But NMSQT is what you do in the 11th grade, not anything before.
Okay.
Second, for students taking it in the 10th grade, if they're applying for a competitive summer school, some of
Hmm.
them might insist on a PSAT score for which it might be taken. Otherwise, otherwise, it should be taken just for the fun of it, nothing else. Must take it. It's a good exposure. It's a good experience. But
Hmm.
for God's sake, do not spend time, energy, money, effort preparing for the.
Got it. Okay. Now, sir, you've trained, coached, mentored so many students, tutors. What do you think is a good preparation strategy for SAT? Like, should students devote 100 hours a week because that's what the questions that are asked to us, or students should devote 6, 8 hours? Please tell us.
Anything like 6 to 10 hours a week is sufficient.
Okay.
More than sufficient, optimal. It cannot be prepared for like the way we prepare for our CBSE exams. That last 15 days I'm going to shut myself up in a room and I just mug
Hmm.
everything up. No, this is a test of your application primarily. But then you need to master content. I
Hmm.
recommend spend about 4 months at least, 4 to 5 months. The
Hmm.
first 2 months do not take any practice paper.
Okay.
The biggest mistake kids make is they start with practice papers and try to work backwards. It's not going to happen. For 2 months, just work on content. Be very solid.
Hmm.
Then talk about application, the strategies, the testing. You need to be very, very humble to practice.
Hmm.
I've never seen stubborn kids or egotist kids doing well. When you made a mistake, you need to very humbly accept it and try and learn from it. Those kids will do phenomenally well. You need to be very sensitive to the mistakes. Learning from your own mistakes is the biggest thing that you need. I
Hmm.
would recommend don't try and take your first attempt in less than 4 to 5 months of preparation.
Hmm.
And in my opinion, even if you're doing a tutored course like us, about 120 to 150 hours of input is more than enough. For a self prep, about 80, 90 hours are more than enough. You don't need more.
Okay. And would you recommend self prep for any student, or would you stick to coaching?
Depends. Some courses do it very well on self prep, how motivated you are, how disciplined you are. See, there is no dearth of content today. Everybody has it.
Hmm.
There's so much available online.
Hmm.
If you can discipline yourselves, you can structure it, go ahead and do it yourself. Coming to
Okay.
people like us, some advantages are that you don't have to solve every single challenge yourselves. There are people
Hmm.
who've solved it thousands of times. They're there to help. There to
Hmm.
tell you where you're going wrong and why you're going wrong, what you need to work on. And second, it keeps you a bit disciplined. For example, if you don't do the homework, somebody in my team is going to write to you.
Hmm.
Where is it? So some people find it overwhelming, pressurizing, whatever it is. But there are both sides of everything. This side, two sides to a coin. You don't feel like being pressured. Don't feel like being dictated externally. Don't come to people like us or anybody else.
Hmm.
If you think it's going to help you, you can be compliant. It will definitely help you. It will cut down the effort that you need and it will increase the probability of success. But it is not black and white. Coming to us it only enhances your probability, it doesn't guarantee success.
I think as counselors, I feel coaching does give you that structure and discipline which is
Yes.
required to nail the
Which is
exam.
required all the more because it's juggling so many balls at the same time.
Hmm.
So there'll be
Yes,
somebody who will be taking care of this.
yes, I agree. So, since you spoke about practice papers, our students give a lot of mocks, and some students end up giving 5, 7 mocks, some end up giving 13 to 15. Why do you think mock tests are so important, and how many mocks should students aim to take before the actual exam?
So mock tests are important because this is a real thing.
Hmm.
Most of these mock tests would be structured the way the actual exam is structured. So number one, they teach you test navigation.
Hmm.
They expose you to the difficulty level,
Hmm.
and they give you an excellent chance to review your mistakes.
Hmm.
Number of mistakes, mocks to be taken, I would say 10 is the absolute. Anything less than 10 is inadequate. And on the higher side, I would go up to 15, maybe 18 for people who touch it for a very long period of time. But you should never take more than two practice papers.
Okay.
So if you're doing 12 mocks in 2 weeks, you're killing it.
Hmm.
And the key to success is not taking a large number of mocks. The key to success is looking into your mistakes, analyzing your mocks, generating learnings. That is what will help.
Hmm. Okay. Got it, sir. And no mocks before the day of the exam. So if your exam is on 5th August, a lot of students end up taking 3 mocks on 4th of August. Would you
No
recommend that?
way. So
No way, right? Yes.
the last mock that you should take should be 72 hours before the test.
Got it.
In the 2 days preceding, the test is always on a Saturday. So we always
Hmm.
recommend the Thursdays and Fridays, you should not do any practice papers.
Got it.
Thursday, you may review your mistakes. Friday, do nothing related to the SAT. Just go ahead and enjoy yourselves. Do what keeps you happy.
Hmm.
Go shopping, watch television, visit friends, go for a movie, do whatever keeps you happy. Keep the SAT thing completely out of your mind. Make sure on getting a very good nightly sleep the night prior to the test. If you
Yeah.
don't get worked up the day before, it'll always harm you.
Yes. And what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes that students do while preparing for SAT? And how do you think one should avoid that?
Taking a lot of practice papers,
Hmm.
solving lots of questions,
Hmm.
and not looking into their mistakes. This test is all about analysis. This is about being in a reflective state of mind,
Hmm.
not in an operational state of mind. Solving because you like it, you don't like it. 60% of the questions that you get to see on the test day, you'll be seeing them for the first time in your life.
Hmm.
Although you'll be able to solve them using the same principles that you've learned. So you need to be in the thinking mode, the reflective mode. Practice, practice, practice doesn't help on this test, unfortunately.
Okay. Akriti, do you want to
Yeah,
share questions? Yeah.
there's just one question in the chat right now, which I think they just want a clarity. Can students take the SAT in grade 9 and 10, or should they wait?
They can take the SAT in grade 9 and 10, but this is something I'll never recommend. As I told you earlier, what it's end of the day, it's a test of your IQ.
Hmm.
And the IQ at this age grows by the weeks. So nothing to be gained by taking it very early.
So
And a couple of
11th grade
colleges, couple
is
of
the
colleges
ideal.
may not accept a score which was obtained in the 10th grade. You want
Hmm.
to start your campaign early, take an AP or two here or there, that will help a lot. Work on other things, work on your reading. There's so many things you can do to keep yourself busy.
Just, I actually have one question which I get from a lot of students that in case they are giving the SAT in grade 11, do you think that there are certain tips that they can follow in grade 9, 10, which is maybe reading more books or improving
I
their
have five
vocab?
tips. I have 5 tips for
Okay,
them.
great, sir. What are those?
First is read,
Hmm.
second is read, third is read, fourth is read, and fifth is read. And read anything that you can lay your hands on. Don't try to read very fancy stuff. Focus on the quantity of reading. Read what you like. You like murder mysteries, fiction, Sherlock Holmes, Harry Potter. Read what you like. But
Hmm.
you must have a target to read at least 5 hours a week.
Hmm.
Don't bother. I mean, the reading choices will evolve automatically. That's the beauty of it. It's self-evolving all. It's a
Hmm.
self-evolving trait. You read 3 books from the same author, 2 books from the same author, you will always, feel like changing that author and reading something new. Expose yourselves to more content.
Hmm. So just maybe read a lot. And anything for the math enthusiasts that you would have?
Focus on your school work. That's enough. If you're preparing for some Olympiad on the side, nothing.
Okay.
So,
Any questions?
Vinam sir,
Yes.
sorry, Rucha, one second. Sir, in one session you had mentioned that AP pre-calc is a good one, right, to
It's
take?
amazing. Amazing.
Hmm.
AP pre-calculus. See, I'll tell you what. The only downside for AP pre-calculus is it will not give you a credit at the college. But somebody in the 10th, 11th grade are least bothered about credits. You only need to look at whether it will help me with my admissions or not. It's a proper AP. It will give you a full, weightage on your whole thing.
Mhm.
Second, especially I'm talking about ICSC and CBSE students, right? ICSC and CBSE students, when from grade 10, they'll go to grade 11. The math jumps not 1 year, it jumps 3 years.
Hmm.
And it takes them a lot of time to bridge that, to
Yeah.
come to terms with things. With the AP pre-calculus will be a huge help there. Second, as counselors, most of these good kids, you would want them to take the calculus BC in the 11th grade.
Right.
The AP pre-calculus is a great support to that. And the third, almost 90% of the kids that we have worked with in pre-calculus in the 10th grade, their lowest score on math on the SAT has been a 780. Most of them scored an 800. It aligns so closely. So it's like killing three birds with the same stone. So not doing AP pre-calculus in the 10th grade can be a grave mistake. Still, I don't know why Grapevine has it. It's a fudgy AP, it's a knuckly AP, it doesn't get you credit. Who's bothered about credit, right?
Right.
I don't think anybody has got. If you want to work on something for the credits, you should do those APs after the 12th grade.
Mhm.
Everything would be song for you. Physics, math, APs, you would have covered everything at school. This is not the time I would be worried about AP credits. No, I would not even look at credits. But then APs, if you are CBSE, ICSE especially, start working on APs as early as grade 9.
Hmm.
Motivated grade 8. My son is entered the 12th grade this year. Through the last 4 years, he's done 8 APs. And none of them actually was a huge load for him.
Hmm.
We did one after 8, two after 9, three after 10, and two again after 11. Done. 8 APs is formidable. I'm sure you, as counselors, can comment on that better than me.
8 APs is
Right.
amazing.
It's formidable. No admission
Yeah.
officer can actually overlook those. And when they've
Right.
been taken over a period of 4 years, it also shows amazing consistency.
Yes.
This is what matters.
Correct. Back to you, Rucha.
Okay. So someone has asked in the chat, sir, can you please explain what super scoring is for SAT?
Okay. So SAT has two sections, a math section and an English section. The math section scored out of 800, English section scored out of 800. And we treat them as two completely separate tests. The concept of super score means that universities that accept your super score, you can report your math and English scores from two different attempts, from wherever you scored the highest. So let's say I took the test for the first time. I got 800 maths, 700 English, which is a 1500. Next time I took the test again, but now I get 700 math, 800 English, which is 1500 again. But when we calculate the super score, we'll take 800 math from the first attempt, 800 English from the second attempt. So this becomes a 16.
Got it. Sir, then do you recommend, maybe like a lot of students ask this, that why can't I take two attempts and in the first attempt just focus on English and in the second attempt just focus on
It's
math?
useless. It's not that big. You can do both of them at the same time.
Okay.
It's not
Um,
required. It's not required. You may do that, but I've never seen that work.
hmm. Okay. Any other questions from the audience, or I can continue with the
There's
questions that
one
we have?
there's one more which was what is a good diagnostic score?
Anything 1200 or higher is good in my opinion.
Okay. But
Okay.
is that the average you see, sir? 1200?
My average is 1170.
1170.
1170.
Okay.
Okay. Sir, talking about the digital SAT, um, could you tell us a bit about how to change your strategy for digital SAT, or does adaptive testing makes the exam harder? What are your thoughts on that?
It doesn't make it harder. First thing. Second, the test is not question adaptive. It never changes question by question. It is
Hmm.
a section adaptive test. So
Okay.
there are three sections, A, B, and C.
Hmm.
Everybody gets the same first section, which is A. If you do well, you'll get the harder second one, which is B. If you
Hmm.
don't do well, you'll get the easier second section, which is C. If you
Hmm.
get the C section, you won't score well.
Hmm.
You want to score well, you have to get the harder one. If you switch to easier section, you won't even score a 600 or 800. So students should not
Hmm.
really worry about adaptivity. I can go on for hours on this. I mean, I would have done maybe 2 PhDs on the structure of the test and how it is scored. I think probably we are among the only people across the globe today scoring it the same way. But all I can tell the students what they'll find useful here is when this test is scored, not all questions carry equal marks. And contrary to what you might expect, it's the easier questions that carry more marks than the harder. So making a mistake on easier questions will cost you a lot.
Got it.
That is what you need to bear. The hardest of questions may not even be evaluated. And remember, there are two experimental questions for each section, which will never be graded.
Hmm. Okay. A lot of students also take so much pressure for SAT, to the extent that I've seen students fall sick, not able to focus on anything else, have anxiety. So, what are your thoughts on that? What would you suggest?
This is collectively people like you, me, and their classmates and parents are the culprit. If I can use some Hindi, I hope everybody understands it. इस टेस्ट में कुछ भी नहीं है जो आप नहीं पढ़ते हो अपने डे टू डे स्कूल लाइफ में अनफॉर्चुनेटली आपने इसको इज्जत इतनी दी कि इसको सर पे बिठा दिया
Hmm.
दैट्स अबाउट इट यू क्रिएटेड एन इमेज द टेस्ट इज नथिंग 98 क्वेश्चंस ऑन द टेस्ट उसमें से 80 तो आपको आज भी आते हैं
Hmm.
तो 18 सवाल तो सीखना
Hmm.
दिस इज ऑल साइकोलॉजिकल
Hmm.
unfortunately the problem here is the moment you open up your laptop to take a mock test in your laptop you see the gates to Harvard University.
Hmm.
And I tell my students, if in the laptop you look at the gates to a Harvard and Yale, those gates will always close on you. They'll never open.
Hmm.
Because इतनी इज्जत इस टेस्ट को देने की जरूरत ही नहीं. It's just a bloody test, nothing more than that.
Hmm.
You take the test on merit. I've seen kids starting from 1,000 points and doing a 1540 confidently. Confidently, not a
Hmm.
fluke. It depends upon what your learning approach is. You remain steadfast to what the test needs.
Hmm.
Yes, one important thing that the test would need, one missing skill with most of Indian students is your reading. This test was not meant for Indian students ever. Less than 1% of the total global test takers are from India. 90% of the test takers are in the US who are native speakers of the language. They're voracious readers. 10th grade kids from India come to me and I tell them, sir, what do we read? I said, you read Harry Potter. Okay, thick book, sir.
So much, so
Seventh grader,
entertaining though.
seventh grader American kids come to me, sir, what do I read? I tell them, read Harry Potter. He says, I finished that in grade 5. Tell me something else.
Hmm.
That's your competition.
Hmm.
Those are the kids you're competing with. You'll have to get yourselves up there.
Hmm.
So read. That's the missing skill. Anybody sibling in the family, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, I started bribing my kids to read from the seventh. Every time they would finish a book, they would get something that they were coveting. To what? You want a dress, you want a this, you want a Nerf gun. You finish this book, I'll get you a Nerf gun. Maybe Machiavellian, maybe unethical, I do not know. But as a parent, it always works.
I am a voracious reader, sir. I feel like it's an important life skill
Yes, it
to
is.
read. Forget SAT, ACT, college
Absolutely.
admissions,
It will help you in
everything.
every walk of life.
Yes.
Everything. If you are a voracious reader, it will also effort required on theoretical subjects later on.
Hmm. So everyone, all the students who are here, parents who are here, read. That's the most important advice that sir has given today.
Everything else can be taken care of by people like us. What we cannot take care of is your reading caution. I mean, you will have to read.
Hmm. Um, okay. My next question is, this is a common misconception.
I'll add to this one.
Yes, sir.
Don't tell me I don't like reading. If you don't like reading, it means you're not reading the right stuff.
Hmm.
If you pick up a copy of Economist tomorrow and you start reading it, obviously you won't like it. It's going to be
Correct.
so heavy.
Hmm.
Right? So read what you like reading. Start there. Start start with a Percy Jackson. There is no way you will not like it. Start with, if not anything else, you get a Tintin and Asterix comics and read those. I don't mind.
Hmm.
Read, for God's sake, read.
Hmm. Got it, sir. Sir, about math, do you think that there are some topics which are more important than others, especially for SAT?
So the SAT essentially is a test of algebra.
Okay.
Third of it is algebra. The
Hmm.
second, you need to learn the Desmos, which is the calculator facility. A lot can be done on that. Again, kids with ICSE and CBSE struggle a little bit in the initial days, even if they're very good with their school math.
Hmm.
That's because for CBSE, ICSE, the curricula have not been revised in the last 35 years.
Hmm.
I did my 10th grade in 87. The math book today reads still the same 29 years later. It has a lot of plain geometry, which has ever since been completely discarded from global curricula. So, but kids normally, I mean, they come to terms with it. It takes them some time, and don't carry your classroom scores to the essay. They're not relevant. The problem is when a parent comes to me, Abhinav, my child scored of 96% in her ICSE. 96% in ICSE is hardly 80th percentile. 80th percentile on the SAT is 1200. Everybody is getting 96%.
Got it.
If
Sir,
somebody
there is
comes and
also
tells me I got 89% on my ICSE, my question is, how did you manage? It's difficult. So don't carry it to your SAT. Start from a clean slate. Go
So
ahead,
there
please.
is also a common notion, you tell us if it's a misconception or if it's true, that students from IB
Hmm.
or A levels tend to do better
On the
on the
SAT,
SAT.
it's
Why?
equal. Students from ICSE and CBSE will take a slightly longer amount of time getting more comfortable with the essay.
Hmm.
But eventually, in the end results, I see nothing like that. I see absolutely no correlation.
Hmm. Even as counselors, I would like to tell everyone that because we deal with so many students from CBSE, ISC, you may just take some more time to adapt to the test, but at the end of the day, it's just the effort that you put in for the exam.
Let me also add to it. A student from CBSE, ICSE, good student, capable student, would feel extremely uncomfortable in the first 1 month of my preparation. Post that, they are the same. Once they know how street works, then they kind of adapt.
Okay. Um, I think we are done with the questions, Akriti. If anyone from the audience would like to ask any more questions, please feel free. You can directly ask or maybe put it in the chat.
Any which
Uh,
ways is good.
yes.
I have one question from Instagram. So they're asking what does a student do if they're stuck in a plateau in
Hmm.
their mock tests? Like they're doing all the reviews and all, but nothing is moving.
See what is not working for them. If they are with us, my team would be able to tell them very easily what needs to be done. We have got such good analytics on our platform because we track a kid in 100 ways. So, but you're stuck in a plateau. The plateau would come only because you're not being very specific about how you're spending time between 2 months.
Hmm. Okay. And so if they're not with you, one or two analytics that they should be looking at.
Just look at your mistakes and learn from. For example, we use something called parallel analysis here, so which breaks down your mistakes on a topic by topic basis. One of the students I was talking to yesterday, he had average 3.2 mistakes in boundaries over 10 mock tests. 32 mistakes made on one topic only.
Oh,
So,
My That is 3.2 average into 10 mocks, 32 mistakes in boundaries.
yeah.
Right.
yeah.
My question to him was, do you think these 32 are different mistakes or same mistake? No, you can't make 32 mistakes and boundaries. There would be about 4 or 5 mistakes, each of them repeating infinitesimally. You keep on taking, when you take 10 more mocks, this 32 will become 64. If not 64, it will become 60.
Hmm.
That won't help. You need to sit down with these 32 mistakes and see what is common.
Hmm.
Create telemarks, spend a lot of meaningful time, and eliminate them at a topic by topic level. So before you start taking further.
Okay, thank you, sir. To the audience, if you have any questions, you can either put it in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask.
I actually have one question because we have discussed SAT and ACT. Since ACT has now been taken over by ETS, which is a dependable organization, do you think that maybe a year and a half down the line, we'll go back to the same question if we should be doing SAT or ACT? Do you
We
foresee
will,
that
we will,
trend again?
we will. I'll be able to better answer this question 1 year later. Let me see what they
Hmm.
do with it.
Okay. Okay.
I have
Uh,
one student. She is.
okay. Yeah.
Uh, there's one question in the thing. I want to understand how important APs are for IB students.
They are not. As an IB student, when you take an AP, there has to be a specific reason for that. Generally, IB in the 11th and 12th grade is quite rigorous. Never try to take an AP in 11th or 12th grade. If at all you have to take an AP or two, take it in the 9th or 10th grade. And this AP should match two conditions. Number one, never take an AP in any subject that you will be studying for your IB. The gravest mistake you can do is take a calculus BC as an AP when you'll be opting for AA HL in your math. Doesn't serve any purpose. Shows nothing to an admissions officer. It is 70% common curriculum. So one, never take an AP for any subject that you'll be studying in your 11th or 12th grade for your IB. And second, whatever AP you take should support your study. I should be able to answer that question. Why am I taking this AP?
AP.
Maybe it is some subject which I could not fit into my, IB schedule later on. Leaving the two languages, you can study only 4 subjects, right? Maybe I am doing an internship which talks about behavioral psychology, where I'm studying behavior of patients at a hospital or consumers for a certain product. So it just occurred to me, why not take the AP psychology?
Hmm.
Something like that. Other than that, the only AP I can recommend, which is a very utilitarian AP, is AP statistics. Take that in the 10th. That is something which will help you a lot in your college because that is the only AP that teaches you hypothesis testing, research methodology, which is going to be, from the first day in college, you're going to get used to it and you'll be struggling with it. And this is something they won't teach you at school. So
Hmm.
10th grade, if you have the time, can be used to probably look at AP statistics.
Okay, sir.
So then pre-calc for IGCSE students is not needed.
Pre-calc for IGCSE students if they're not doing the advanced.
Okay.
Hmm.
If they're doing the regular extended math or extended math, even with international math, I would not recommend it. If they're doing the extended math for your math at IGCSE, then probably doing the AP pre-calculus will definitely.
Hmm.
If they're doing the advanced math, they don't need it. That's a beautiful thing. It's a waste of time.
Hmm.
One student, Anvika, you want to ask your question?
Sir, so I had a question, especially because I'm planning to give the SAT this year and I'm in grade 11. I just
Yeah.
started with
Mm-hmm.
IB this year, shifted from a national board to an international board
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
So, sir, every month in the IB, you typically have something or the other, either an exam or some competition. So, would you recommend that whichever month you're giving the SAT in, like 3 weeks prior to the date or a month prior, you don't do anything and just concentrate on the SAT?
No
Or
way.
is
No,
it something,
no,
no?
no, no. It has to go along with everything else. Second, with the SAT, you should always front load the prep. I talk about an inverted exponentially decreasing curve. The closer you get to the test, your efforts have to become higher in quality, lower in quantity. And do not sacrifice anything else. Just plan yourselves well. It's all about planning.
Thank you, sir.
Just 5 to 6 hours a week closer to the test date, nothing more. That's the max you'll ever need.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? We'll take a last question before we close. I think we're good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll just do the closing remarks. As we come to the end of today's session, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Abhinav, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is always such a learning experience for us counselors also to have a session with you, and all our EduCoach counselors are also on this call. I'm sure they have learned a lot to provide that advice further to our students. And thank you, Rucha, for masterfully moderating the session with your questions today. And we hope today's discussion has helped all the students and parents here understand the SAT and the ACT, given you better clarity on planning your standardized testing journey. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to Team EduCoach. And thank you once again. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Rucha. Thank you, Akriti.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
sir.
everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care.
Bye.